Hello beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I made this beautiful reversible Peplum Pinafore. Yes, and this was inspired by Style by Reme here on YouTube. When she made this some weeks ago, I thought within myself to make mine too because I really love it. So if you are interested in knowing how I made mine, so just stay tuned, keep watching, and I will see you in the video. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. So for this video not to be super long, I've dropped a video on how I drafted these half-length basic bodies. So if you haven't seen it, I'll just link it up here and I'll put it in the description box too, so that you can watch and you will understand. Thank you. So after drafting the basic bodies, we'll be using just the front to draft both the back and the front of this upper pattern. So now I've measured 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So this will serve as the neckline for the back. Yeah, you can use 2 3/4 or 3 inches depending on how wide you want the neck to be. So but I think I used 2 3/4 by 1.5 inches. So this will serve as the neckline for the back. So now from this shoulder, I just take in 2 inches at the upper part over there, and here I'm measuring 2 inches up. Yeah, this will serve as the band. Yeah, it will serve as the band. So I'm just measuring 2 inches up here, which will serve as the band. So now I measure 3 inches at that part over there. Then I'll be connecting this point down to the other point there, just like that. I'll be connecting it. Then after connecting it, I'll be cutting it out. So what I've cut out, I will use it for the front and the back. The only difference is that the neckline of the front will be lower than that of the back. So I'm just going ahead to draft the neckline of the front on it, but I will not cut the neckline out. So I'm using 3 inches, just like that, and I'll draw the neckline like this. So I won't cut it out, I won't cut the neckline out, because if I cut it out it will affect the back. So I'll just go ahead and cut my fabric now. You know, we are using 2 type of fabric. Then after cutting the fabric, you will add sewing allowance to the side like that, and to the other side too, and you will add for the back piece too. Yes, and you will now go ahead and cut the neckline for the front on it. So I'm using 2 type of fabric. I'm using a dull fabric and a very bright fabric. So I decided to use 2 different type of Ankara because I don't want the Ankara to be similar. So this is my flare. I've gone ahead to cut the flare, and it is 720-degree flare. If you don't know how to calculate and how to cut 720-degree flare, I will link the video up here. I have a video on that. I'll just link it up there or in the description box. So I cut 2 cycle flare, that is 720-degree for the first Ankara, and the same thing too for the second Ankara. Now I'll be shaping out the front of this Ankara because I don't want it to just be straight. I want it to have this curvy shape. So I'm dividing this Ankara. I'm just taking a small portion of this curve. Then I'll be drawing a curve. I'll be drawing the curve. Though this first curve I drew was not the one I used. I later extended it because I feel it was kind of too small. So I went down a bit, just like this. Then I just curve it out. You can just use your hand because I didn't really use this French curve to draw this curve. I'm just using my free. I just use my free hand to just draft this out. Then I'll be cutting it out, just like that. Make sure it is very close to the end over there, so you don't cut out from the waist. So you cut out the 2 and you cut out the other Ankara too. So this is what I'm doing right now. So now the next thing I will do now is to cut the band. So you make sure that the band you are cutting will accommodate your waist, and it will also have excess for the rope. I don't know how you want it. You may want the rope to be very long so you can tie it, but me, I use a very short rope. I just added like, I think, extra 7 inches. But if you want it to be longer than that, you can add more to it so that you can tie a bow or something. Then I went ahead to add stay to my peplum just to make it have volume, because I use a small Ankara. Even if you are using the big Ankara, you can still add stay to it just to make it thick. So that's what I did. Then I'll be joining the two the two flare. I'll be joining it together just to have a single one. So I'll be doing that for this. Then for the upper bodies, I'll be joining the same Ankara together and the other one too together. As you notice that I added stay to just one of the Ankara. I don't know why, but I just feel like adding to just one. You can add to the two, but I just added to one of the Ankara. Then I'll be placing it like this. I will open up the back, open up the front, then place it together like this. Then I'll join the shoulder. After placing it together, I'll just join it at the shoulder for both the Ankara. I'll just go ahead and join it at the shoulder. So after joining, this is what it looks like. So I'll make the right side of the Ankara to face each other just like this, and I'll make sure the shoulder, they are matching, and the neckline too is matching. I'll make them face each other like this. Then I will sew at the neckline down, and also by the side I will sew it like that. So the opening will just be those sides I'm touching, but the remaining side I will sew it. So after sewing, this is what it looks like. I'll just go ahead and notch my neckline so that it can turn well. So I can turn it and it will turn beautifully well. So I'll just go ahead and notch just like this. So now I'll cut out those parts. Then I will turn out my bodies. I'll turn it out. It is very easy to turn out. Yeah, very easy. You just turn one, you start with one side, you turn it out. You just turn it out the way that is convenient for you. Just turn it out. And after turning it out, make sure it is straightened. Then you iron it so that it can look nice. So I'm still using my hand to straighten it here. I've not even ironed it, but this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So now this is the peplum, and I've went ahead to join the two peplum together. Just turn it like this. So I only left the opening at the waist area. So I went ahead to join both like this. So this is the upper bodies. I've ironed it out. As you can see, it is looking very nice because I've ironed it out. So this is what it looks like. So this is the peplum and this is the band. So I just folded one side of the band in by ½ inch. I forgot to tell you the width of this band. It is 2.5 inches. So I folded ½ inches, and I will also sew with ½ inches at the lower part, so it will remain 1.5 inches for me. So now I'm notching the midpoint of this band. Then I'll measure my waist divided by 2. So I'll mark the point and I will notch with my scissors just to know where the peplum will start and when the peplum will end, and the midpoint, that's the essence of this notching. So now I'll be placing the peplum on it, and make sure that the Ankara that you are placing on it is the same with the band. Make sure it is the same. So you start with the midpoint first. You see the Ankara, they are the same thing. It's not as if I'm using this other one for this other side. Make sure they are matching so you don't make mistake. So this is the other band too. I'll just go ahead and also notch the midpoint. Then I'll be pinning it together, the 3 midpoints for the flare, the 2 band. You can add stay to your band, but I didn't add stay to mine. But I would advise you add stay to your band so that it can be thick enough. So now the end over there too, I will pin it. I will also pin the side too. and this side also I will pin it down, so I know where the peplum is starting and where it is ending. And this is exactly my waist. You can reduce your waist by 1 inch. You can just reduce if you want if you want it to have a gap at the front. You can reduce your waist by 1 inch. Then I'll go ahead and sew. So after sewing, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like after sewing with 1/2 inch. I forgot to tell you that you start from the end of the band when you are sewing. So you start from the end like that, then you sew with the peplum with the flare. So this is what it looks like after sewing. So this is what it looks like after sewing with 1/2 inch. So what I will do next is to fix these upper bodies to it. Then I will notch the midpoint for the back. I will notch it like this. Then I will place it in at the center of the band too. I will place it like that. Then I will pin. So I'll pin it. It's good to pin so that you know where you'll be fixing the fabric. So I'll just pin like that. I'll pin the back and I'll pin the front too. Please, if you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't commented, please do that now. Thank you so much. So this is what it looks like after pinning. You see the ankara, they are facing each other. It's not as if one ankara is facing the other ankara. All the ankara must be facing each other. So I'll pin this side too. And I'll also pin the other one too. So after pinning, I have to close this end of the band. I'll just sew with 1/2 inch like that. Then I'll be back. So this is the 1/2 inch. So I'm trying to trim it out so I don't have a 6. So I'm just trimming it out. Then I'll turn it over like this. I'll turn it over like this. Then I will sew with a 1/4 inch rather. I'll sew with a 1/4 inch all through like that to the end of the other side of the band. I'll sew on it with 1/4 inch. As you know that we folded it in, so it will be easy. So after sewing with 1/4 inch, this is what it looks like. Our peplum, our reversible peplum pinafore, it is ready. It is ready. So this is what it looks like, and it looks really beautiful. I like the ankara I use because one is cool and the other one is so bright. So if I want to wear it to somewhere I don't want them to notice me, I'll wear this other ankara. But if I want to wear it to where they will notice me, I will wear this other colorful ankara. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, for subscribing, for sharing. Thank you so much for all the engagement, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you and bye.